Death simply does not exist, except in the human mind. The soul lives on. We are all souls that cannot be contained or limited by time or space or the physical body. For souls there is no death. Quote by Kate McGahan. What you are learning now may change your understanding of the afterlife. The evidence that will be presented in this video may be a revelation to you. Today we will find out what secrets were discovered by the brilliant doctors who worked on the issues of the afterlife and why they are so sure that the afterlife exists. Watch this video to the end, and I think you will be surprised by this information. One day everyone thinks, what awaits us beyond life? This issue becomes especially acute after the loss of a loved one. We mourn the short time allotted to each of us and ask ourselves, is this really the end? Ashes buried in the ground or ashes after cremation? Is this the end? Or is there something more hidden beyond the threshold of death? These thoughts are often frightening, generating anxiety and even despair. It seems that an abyss is opening up before us, into which everyone looks alone. But it's worth remembering, we are not alone in these reflections. Since ancient times, people have been searching for answers, trying to solve the mystery of death and the afterlife. And someone even managed to do it, but more on that later. There are various theories. The soul continues its eternal path in another world. The spirit returns to life through reincarnation, losing the memory of the past. Or after death, there is only silence and oblivion, interrupted when a person is forgotten. Everyone is looking for confirmation of their faith. Religious people turn to the dogmas of resurrection, philosophers explore the works of the wise men of the past, and rationalists study scientific theories. Today, we will look deep into this mystery and learn about 3 modern researchers who have come closer to solving it. All of them are medical practitioners with scientific degrees whose work challenges the very concept of death. They open the door to the unknown, and it seems that we have come closer to solving the mystery of the afterlife, which we are now learning about. Brian Weiss was born in 1944 in New York City. He graduated from Columbia University, then the Yale University School of Medicine, receiving a Doctor of Medicine degree in internal medicine. After several years of practice at the New York Medical Center, Brian returns to Yale to radically change his specialization. He gets a degree in psychiatry and becomes the head of the department at the Miami Training Clinic. While communicating with patients, Dr. Weiss successfully uses hypnosis sessions. This gives positive results in the treatment of mental illness and is becoming a common practice. However, 10 years later, it was the hypnosis session of one of the patients that changed the worldview of a certified psychiatrist. A woman named Catherine suffered from panic attacks and recurring nightmares that robbed her of the strength to lead a normal life. Traditional conversational therapy did not bring much results for 18 months, which prompted Weiss to explore hypnosis as a therapeutic tool. During the first hypnosis session, instead of revealing childhood as he expected, Catherine began to recall vivid events from her past life, in particular, how she drowned in 1863 BC. Weiss was shocked. The skeptical psychiatrist did not believe in the transmigration of souls, but decided to check the information received during the session in the archives. Imagine his surprise when all the facts from the story were documented. During further hypnotic dives, Catherine reported that she had come into contact with the soul of a highly evolved entity, which she called her mentor. It was with his help that the patient managed to completely get rid of her nightmares. In one of the last sessions, Catherine told Weiss about what her mentor had revealed to her. The case concerned the doctor's own personal secret. The higher spirit spoke about the problems in the Weiss family that led to the mysterious deaths of the eldest son, Brian, and his wife, Carol. It was this episode that became crucial in the development of a new concept for the treatment of mental illness, according to which Dr. Weiss has been working for more than 40 years. During this time, according to documented medical records, Weiss was able to help 4,000 patients. Today, Dr. Weiss promotes hypnotic immersion of patients in past lives as a way to cure various phobias and mental disorders. In his opinion, it is from communication with higher beings that one should expect help in solving difficult life situations. This method of treatment is called regression in a state of hypnosis. In this case, the patient is introduced into a trance state with the help of a certain technique, in which he is able to recall the events of early childhood or what happened to him in a previous life. All this allows the patient to understand and eliminate the cause of modern problems. Reincarnation, according to Weiss, is a scientifically proven fact. Rebirth of the soul in a new body, or transmigration of souls, is the main dogma of many religions and beliefs. The idea was supported by ancient philosophers of various schools and modern scientists. To the best of his ability, Weiss tries to involve as many Americans as possible in the process of self-regulation, considering it a way to solve any complex, confusing, or mysterious problem. According to the psychiatrist, any mentally healthy person is able to help himself without the help of a specialist and in compliance with certain rules. Understanding and accepting what happened in past lives helps to rethink the present and correct mistakes. To do this, he conducts open seminars in different cities of the USA under the encouraging title, Miracles Happen. For more advanced students, Brian organizes masterclasses that allow them to independently immerse themselves in deeper layers of the psyche. At the age of 80, Weiss is not going to end his career, considering educating as many people as possible his mission. Along with scientific works that only professionals will understand, Dr. Weiss is the author of numerous popular books. In them, the psychiatrist talks about regression and reincarnation, ways of meditation, and finding inner peace in an accessible form for the layman. Some books have become national bestsellers, and their author has been an honored guest on various American television channels. Brian Weiss attributes his active longevity to the beneficial effects of repeated dives into memories of past lives. They are the ones who are able to overcome physical and mental ailments and give life a new, vivid meaning. If psychiatrist Weiss is convinced that the human soul can live an infinite number of lives, returning to our world in a new bodily form, then a specialist in another medical field is trying to convey to his contemporaries what a person experiences at the moment of clinical death. His name is Jeffrey Long. Practically nothing is known about the personal life of this man. Jeffrey Long was born in 1954 in New York City. He graduated from the medical faculty at the University of Iowa and received a doctorate in radiation oncology. He worked at Las Vegas Central Hospital for more than 30 years, dealing with the brutal effects of cancer day after day. One day, Jeffrey read an article in a medical journal by psychiatrist Raymond Moody, who collected and systematized fragments of memories of people who had experienced clinical death. Having the opportunity to replenish the proposed list, Dr. Long began to record the experiences of patients who returned to life after intensive care. When the unique material he had collected exceeded the volume of the most detailed magazine article, Jeffrey decided to write a book about what a person experiences when on the verge of life and death. In 2011, a voluminous book with a long title appeared on American bookstalls. The Scientific Study of Near-Death Experiences, or Proof of Life After Death. The book was co-authored by professional journalist Paul Perry. The book instantly became a bestseller, and the issue raised in it became the #1 topic for television and newspaper investigations for many days. Based on his own rich experience, as well as using the memories of people who openly shared their memories of the minutes of clinical death, Long was able to identify several main points. The research material consists of 1,300 questionnaires filled out by real people. The main axiom of the book, which does not require any proof, is the theory that constantly recurring moments in the memories of different, unrelated people allow us to draw a reasonable conclusion. Everything they describe is true. Long identified 12 aspects that were present in most of the questionnaires. The separation of the soul from the body. All the respondents mentioned that they saw their body as if from above. Some claim that they could easily overcome obstacles and be present in different places at the same time. Sharpening of all senses except touch. Visual, auditory, and olfactory images were stunningly real and often surpassed all the impressions experienced in earthly life. A surge of emotions. Survivors of clinical death claim that at that time they experienced a comprehensive feeling of love for the whole world, peace and tranquility. Joy, happiness, security. These are the feelings that enter the soul at this time. A flight or passage through a light tunnel. It is found in almost every questionnaire. Many people note the softness of the walls and the increased brightness of the light as they move through the tunnel. The glow of the surrounding space. The light could change colors, but they never stopped being pleasing to the eye. Almost no one has been able to find full-fledged synonyms to describe this in the earthly dictionary. Meeting with deceased relatives and friends. Everyone describes their own joy from such a meeting and the feeling of universal love in these moments. Time and space have changed. People lost their sense of up and down, past and present. All the physical quantities seem to combine and become unimportant. Memories of his own life. Someone saw themselves from birth to the moment of death. Someone was shown the most significant events from the past. Many people are sure that this was done to point out the perfect wrong choice, to explain how others see it. The appearance of paintings of another world. It was not possible to get a coherent description, but everyone notes the atmosphere of calm and serenity prevailing there. Many claim that purity has remained forever in their souls. Gaining new knowledge. All the secrets of the universe, all the knowledge accumulated by mankind over the centuries, were revealed to the human consciousness. Former skeptics bitterly regretted the loss of this information when returning back to their bodies, the feeling of an insurmountable obstacle. The most common comment was the following: "It felt like there was a fun party going on behind a wall or a door that I couldn't get to because my time hadn't come yet." Returning to your own body. Sometimes the decision to return to life is made by the person himself. In some cases, others help. Often, for those who ask for permission to stay here, they find good reasons why they should not stay. Surprisingly, Dr. Long notes that the most common words describing the road to the afterlife are peace and love. This gives us hope that there is something familiar and warm beyond our cruel lives. In 1998, Jeffrey Long founded the Foundation for Scientific Research on Near-Death Experiences, which unites scientists from all over the world researching this problem. The foundation has a website where people who have experienced clinical death can anonymously and truthfully tell about their impressions. In numerous interviews that appeared in the media after the book was published, Dr. Long argues that getting to know that world gives people a chance to get rid of the fear of impending death. Those patients with whom Long had the opportunity to communicate personally began to appreciate their ordinary life with its difficulties and problems more. Many people say that since returning to this world, they try to give others more love and sympathy. By the way, Raymond Moody's work inspired another American practicing cardiologist, Michael Sabal, to study human experiences at the moment of death. By the way, an interesting video about Raymond Moody has already been posted on my channel. I strongly advise you to watch it. Michael was born in 1944 in a small town in Colorado in a strict Catholic family. He graduated from college there. The young man decided to choose medicine as his life's work, so he graduated from the University of Texas Medical School. The young doctor chose cardiology as his specialty. For a long time, he worked in hospitals at the universities of Florida and Georgia, and then opened a private office. Sabal left the cardiology practice at the age of 73 and devoted himself entirely to the business, which began many years ago as a hobby. Interested in the research of psychologist and psychiatrist Raymond Moody, who for a long time collected and processed the stories of patients who had experienced clinical death, Sabal decided to keep such records on his own. Working with patients in cardiology departments was also conducive to this. However, unforeseen difficulties often arose. People were afraid to openly talk about their feelings and experiences because they considered them deviations from mental norms. The near-death experiences of 116 people treated by Dr. Sabal became the basis for the book Recollections of Death, a medical investigation. The scientist conducts medical research on conversations, identifies similar and recurring moments, and makes an unequivocal conclusion. The death of the physical body is not the final page of a person's spiritual essence. Being a deeply religious man, Michael brings the religious basis to scientific conclusions. The medical community has well accepted the work of Associate Professor Sabal. He was repeatedly quoted and referred to his conclusions. One of the patients whose impressions Dr. Sabal refers to was a fairly well-known country singer, Pam Reynolds. At the age of 35, an examination revealed a large tumor in Pam's head. Its location in close proximity to the brainstem made it impossible to perform a routine removal operation. After a medical consultation, it was decided to put the patient in a coma and lower her overall body temperature to 10 degrees Celsius. In this case, the heart will stop. There will be an outflow of blood from the brain, which will allow resection of the tumor. In other words, an actual dead body will be subjected to surgery. The removal of the tumor was successful. But after resuscitation, Reynolds said her spirit had left her body and was hovering over the operating room. She described the location of the medical staff in the operating room and the instruments used during the operation. Later, the doctors present confirmed the truthfulness of her words. Pam talks about the unusual brightness of vision and hearing at this time. She felt herself being swallowed up by a stream of white light, which brought her into a room where deceased friends and relatives were present. She really liked being there and didn't want to go back at all. Then her beloved uncle just forcefully pushed her down. This particular case, confirmed by video recordings, instrument readings, and medical reports, is a convincing example of maintaining consciousness after death. Fascinated by the idea of studying near-death experiences, Michael Sabal and his associates founded the International Association for Near-Death Experiences in 1981. Today, its members include more than 1,200 medical researchers from 50 countries around the world. The association publishes a quarterly journal that publishes only scientifically based articles on the condition of people at the time of clinical death. And the community's website will be of interest not only to specialists, but also to ordinary people interested in this problem. Each of us, faced with the unsightly picture of the death and burial of loved ones, thinks about what awaits a person after death. But those who are able to uncover the mystery of death relate to this issue in a completely different way. They know for sure that the death of the physical body does not mean the end of the spiritual life. They are no longer afraid to die, because death is only the entrance to a new, different world. Many people are accustomed to consider doctors to be cynical materialists. But today I told you about 3 doctors who, faced with the inexplicable, did not dismiss it. Each of them started their own investigation, and now, with proven facts in their hands, they can prove that there is life after death. It is worth listening to their opinion and stop poisoning your existence with fears of imminent demise. Dear friends, thank you for watching my video to the end. If you liked it, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Thank you and have a nice day.